So this page is going to be dedicated to women who want to overcome their PCOS and autoimmune issues and take their lives back and to feel like they have power and ownership over their own bodies again. So a lot of the symptoms with PCOS and Hashimoto's, some of them can overlap, some of them have their own distinct components to it. But for the most part, all of them are when we feel like we just don't have control over our own body. Our body doesn't respond the way it's supposed to. We're too tired. We have horrible symptoms with our cycle. Whatever it is the case is for you, I want to help you feel empowered to take your health back and to start feeling good in your own body again. So, we're just going to do a quick talk today on my personal story and how I overcame those issues. And I want to start off by painting a picture of what we think is healthy and appropriate for women in weight loss and in the health space. So usually the talk is cardio. We need to do cardio. We need to be runners. We need to be swimmers, whatever it is. And then maybe if you do anything else, you should do yoga or maybe Pilates, or even the reformer Pilates, whatever it is. But don't you dare touch heavy weights because that's going to make you bulky. You're going to look like a man. We've all seen the pictures of the women who are professional bodybuilders and they take steroids. Their bodies don't look like that without help, additional pharmaceutical help. And we think that you either to be lean and to be look toned and to feel like you have that beautiful shapely muscle, you have to be a runner and you have to do yoga or Pilates. And if you lift weights, you're going to look like a dude. And then we look at the diets and what we're expected for food. So a lot of women think that going vegan or vegetarian or only chicken and fish is the right way for your body to be healthy and to be lean and to be fertile. And then when looking at fats, it's usually low fat stuff, low fat, low carb, lean meats only. And that's what it looks like. Oh, and by the way, we also need to handle stress perfectly well. We also need to get the life tasks done and only get sleep when you can and cater to everyone else's needs. When you look at that picture, you think, how can anybody be healthy? And if this is you, I want you to understand that it's okay. It's not your fault. The millions of dollars in marketing has gone into getting us to buy products or to conform to a certain diet because there's a financial gain to it. And none of it's right. I mean, even if we talk about, I'm not going to get sidetracked. None of it's right. So when I paint that picture, I want you to understand that I get it. And I was there too. I was put on birth control as a teenager, and this does have a relevant point to it. I was put on birth control as a teenager and for painful cycles. And I thought that that was the solution. I was told that was my solution. And then I fell in love with running and the image, girls should be runners, girls should be lean and thin. And so I leaned into that and I became a runner. And then I went to college. I joined the military, and the military, you're runners. I was in the Army. You're a runner. And I was running all the time. I did some strength training, not very much, but I was running all the time, doing push-ups and sit-ups, all the standard things. And then I was trying to meet height, weight, body fat standards. And so I was eating less and less and less. And over the years, as it progressed, I got to the point where I was doing 10-mile runs, 7 to 10 miles every single day, 5 to 6 days a week. So not every day. And then I was doing a long walk, like a ruck march, which is carrying something heavy on your back, walking anywhere from 5 to 12 miles. I was doing some of those 2 times that day. And then sometimes I was doing yoga or a very lightweight, I never touched heavy weights, a very lightweight weight training program. And I was having less than 1,000 calories a day. And my body was rioting. Obviously, when we talk about it, it makes sense. But my body was not okay. And I kept going to the doctor and I kept asking for help. And they kept saying, oh, you're just stressed. Oh, you're just in a hard job. Oh, your husband's just deployed. Oh, This is just what it is to be a woman. You just need to handle stress better. And then as things kept getting worse and I kept gaining weight over the years, nobody would test anything. I just kept getting blown off. And so I started doing research, trying to find a solution, trying to dig through all the misinformation on the internet, trying to find something that would work. And I have tried so many of the crash diets, and I call them crash diets. And that includes things like Whole30 or keto. And I call them crash diets if and only you're using that kind of stuff for weight loss, because it's not a long-term solution. You're trying to get fast results quickly. And it wasn't in my best interest. And I kept asking for help and no one was helping me. And then when it came to the point where there were some fertility issues, I said, somebody's got to test something. And they tested. And was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and I was also diagnosed with PCOS, and then also with infertility as a part of that. And so that was in 2015, and I was still in the military, so I went on the medication, and I tried to follow the standard recommendations that are given, even of like, as low carb as possible, keep cutting your calories. And I was like, I can't cut any more calories. I can't move anymore. And so it got to the point where it wasn't sustainable. And so I started trying different things. And what actually worked was lifting heavy weights and eating more food. And it sounds like something that's counterproductive when you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to be a healthy weight or get your health back in order. And it's not. And I worked for years. My body was out of control with struggles, and I worked for years to be able to improve that. And I was able to bring calories up to 23 to 2,500 calories as a maintenance calorie. I increased strength. I changed body composition. And then the best part about all of that is the symptoms with PCOS and my Hashimoto's and the infertility gradually all went away. And I was working on mental health stuff too to make sure that the behavior patterns with food were appropriate and I wasn't doing more disordered patterns. But in that process, I learned that some very valuable things in how to support my body and women's bodies when they're struggling with specific conditions. And how we support that is we support your whole body, your whole organ systems, your stress management, your sleep. We look at a whole person component because every area of your body is impacted by blood sugar regulation, for example. So PCOS, there is the insulin resistance and or insulin insensitivity, and that's a problem. And it impacts every part of your body. And so through this process, I went and got a year-long nutrition certification to make sure that what I was doing was supported by research and was more than just my own anecdotal information. And then that's how this business was born. This business was born to help women overcome how they're feeling, overcome those symptoms, take control back of their body, and then get to a healthy weight, because we aren't going to play the fat shaming game and we aren't going to play the crash diet game. But increased body fat still has high risk associated with other metabolic diseases that have mortality rates that are completely preventable. So when I say, and as we go through this and we talk about weight and we talk about weight loss and healthy weight management, we're not talking about your value as a person, but we are talking about components of your health. And when you have Hashimoto's and or PCOS, a lot of women will have both. When you're struggling with these conditions and these symptoms, you have that resistant weight loss, which increases your risk for other metabolic diseases. And lifestyle components can impact all of these. So I want to help you, and I want to help you feel better. And I want to provide this as a service for people and a way to help the world around me. So please follow the channel and stay tuned.